here's a thought about the Ukraine situation. Uh, there's all this talk that, in the mainstream and neocons that we need to defend Ukraine. Defending Ukraine is pro-democracy, yada, yada, yada. Anybody who's paying attention knows that this is false. One point of view that I just thought of is if you look at the situation in Ukraine, short of having foreign intervention, in other words, foreign boots on the ground, my understanding is that there are Polish boots on the ground, and there are actually NATO forces that are working as, I guess, mercenaries there, like contractors. Unless you actually have other armies that can draw from economies that aren't being destroyed, I don't see how Ukraine has a chance. And we all know that a portion of Ukrainians are pro-Russian. Obviously, the people in the Donbass are pro-Russian. Out of all the refugees, I think I saw a statistic saying something like 18 million Ukrainians were refugees, and many of these are young men, by the way. 2 million of them went to the Russian side, that actually escaped the conflict to go across the border towards Russia. So that there's a very strong pro-Russian sentiment. There's a segment of the population that's pro-Russian, and a lot of the actual Ukrainians, even the ones that are pro-Western, I mean the 16 million or so, they fled the country. So we're expected to support a country. They're telling the neocons and the war hawks and the establishment liberals are saying that we need to defend a country that a very large portion of their own population do not want to defend. The Ukrainians themselves are getting away from the conflict. Again, many of these are young men. I remember in the start of the war, the people that were getting out of Kiev, they were crossing the border into Hungary, into Poland. Again, some of them went to Russia. A lot of these were young men. Of course, a lot of them were obviously young, women and children as well. But what does that tell you? That a good segment of the Ukrainian population does not want to fight the Russians. So, yet in the news, we're all supposed to support this country, that obviously is not going to win the war. Even if you believe the propaganda and you think the Ukrainians are doing very well against the Russians, that they're horribly outnumbered, and that in the long term they don't stand a chance. Ukraine does not have the industry to make their own weapons. NATO countries are out of weapons that they can give to Ukrainians. Of course, we also know that this is a bunch of this is a whole what's the word I'm looking for? Boondoggle, I guess, of we're given weapons so that the weapons manufacturers get to produce new weapons, and so they're getting very rich off of this. But anyway, that's my thought on that.